everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Rich T Racing. We've been gone for a while, but we are now back, and we are returning with the first ever career mode episode to be done on this channel, and by myself, that is of course Mr. James Johnston, more commonly referred to as JJ. So here we are at the Belgian Grand Prix. I will give you more information on my career mode as it unfolds, but for now we will talk about this wonderful track, this beautiful track, as is in the title of this video. So as you see here, it's the longest track on the F1 calendar. You start at the start finish line, of course, heading through La Source, through the famous Eau Rouge, up the Kemmel Straight, and into just so many iconic corners on this track. It is a true beauty and a wonderful track to drive as well. We're on the grid then for the Grand Prix. We've got it looks like a couple of new characters here for Codemasters. That guy is definitely new. Normally he's white, but obviously there he is Asian or mixed race, one of the two. I don't want to get myself in trouble. And you just see there in the championship that Lucas Weber leading the championship from Valterri Bottas, and then from yours truly, because I am racing for Red Bull. You will notice there that was Kimi Raikkonen racing for Renault and Lando Norris racing for McLaren as per normal. But before we get into the race, I think it is worth talking about qualifying itself. Here I am in Q1, and it wasn't actually as easy of a Q1 as you might have expected. As we see there, we go P4, and that turned into P13 as we got nearer towards the end of this session, breaking down into the chicane, and we actually come across the line to finish P1 in Q1, so that's given us all the optimism possible heading into Q2. However, as we went into Q2, particularly going through this section of the corner that whose name I cannot quite remember, you see here we run a little bit wide, rear end steps out on us, and we head into a spin. This was our first run in Q2, and now we are in a bit of trouble because we got a push heading into the final lap. You see there we were 4 tenths faster than Weber in the Williams. I'll come on to that in a bit. As we come through sector 2, we are now actually 5 tenths slower than George Russell. As we cross the line, we just about scrape in to Q3, going P9. Definitely not as comfortable as we were in Q1, but we're coming to the end of our first lap here in Q3, and that takes us P5. But as the dust settles, we find ourselves now in P7, but we are faster than the man they call Max Verstappen. So we're now going to ride fully on board with our final lap, pop the DRS open and cross the line. We're a couple of attempts down. In fact, now we're a couple of attempts up, a little bit up even, heading now into La Source. We have a break a bit earlier, but that means we're going to get really good drive out of La Source. We've actually got fantastic drive coming out of La Source, heading now up towards Eau Rouge and Radillon. Make sure not to take it too much here, because otherwise you will spin out, you will lose the rear. Make sure you've got a good ride height. That is what allows the car to stay stable through Eau Rouge. For all of you setup nerds out there, you can see in the corner there, we're about 2 tenths of a second up, and we are also going faster than Pierre Gasly in the Haas car, who's currently on pole. That will probably be classed as a corner cut just there, but I have corner cut settings down a little bit on this version of my career mode. So now heading through, I forget the name of that corner, and now no-name corner, I remember that one. Oh, actually I think it has a corner now, the Jackie X corner, I'm fairly certain it is called. I'm pretty sure this is Pouon we're heading into, dot down into 7th gear. We want to make sure we've got as much throttle on as possible, heading up towards this section where we span at the start of Q2 earlier. Now heading through the quick left, right, we get our front left tyre onto the green stuff there. That could have proved traumatic. We are purple through sector 1, we are green through sector 2. We're also going faster than Pierre Gasly, so this could be a very good lap time, but obviously we've also got a number of drivers still setting lap times. There goes George Russell, setting a 1:41.7. That is the time we are aiming for. Now Lucas Weber has beaten that. He does a 1:41.5. I'm not entirely sure which Mercedes that is in front of us. We have got a Mercedes behind us as well, so we're going to have to see what happens here. Do we improve our position? Yes, we do. We go into P5. So, decent result there. Could have possibly been a bit better. So let's run through the grid order, then you will notice, of course, that it was Lucas Weber and George Russell setting the times in the Williams cars. They are the best cars on the grid right now. So it's Weber from Bottas, from Gasly in the Haas, Russell in the Williams, myself, then Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, followed by Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez, also in the Haas. Romain Grosjean for Racing Point, and then Charles Leclerc, followed by Magnussen and Vettel. Raikkonen Racing for the Renault, Ricciardo in the Alfa Romeo with Hülkenberg his teammate. Butler is 18th, Alex Albon was 19th, and then in last place it was Robert Kubica racing for the Renault team as well. So now we're going to be having a look at what our strategy is saying. You'll notice at the top there we're just flicking through to see that going a little bit longer on the option tyre would appear to be the best way to go about it. That is what we're going to do. We might even try and extend that even further so we get more life out of the medium tyre, as we're now getting ready to get this race underway. We're going to start with the formation lap, but I'm not going to bore you with that because we're recording all of this race. Should have mentioned that probably at the start. You might have noticed it in the length of the video, but anyway, we won't worry about that anymore because we have got 5 lights for the Belgian Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. Lots of wheel spin there from Russell and from Gasly. We're going to be on the inside into La Source. We've got Lando Norris trying to go around the outside, but we're not going to have any of that. We'll leave a little bit of space on the outside, but we are now holding on to P5 heading into Eau Rouge, but we've got Norris properly up our chuff now as we head now through Radion up the Kemmel Straight, and we're not quite close enough to be having a go at Gasly or any of these guys in front of us. Hopefully we'll be able to keep Norris at bay, and it looks like that is what we're doing as these three now heading into a bit of a scrap into, I'm going to say the Nouvelle chicane, but I think that's Monaco. I've been wrong before, and we're now heading through this corner, and we have absolutely tonked it through there, heading now down into the downhill corner, whose name I forget. Bit of contact there between myself and Russell, but it looks like I have got the move done as we move now up into 4th place. Russell getting caught up there with Pierre Gasly in the Haas car. We get ourselves a bit of wheel spin coming out of the Jackie X corner, now heading into Pouhon, and we are going to, we're running just a little bit wide. Be careful out there, that can send your car around. Circa Antonio Giovinazzi, who's obviously not in this race, and now we are heading into the corner where we spun in Q2. We're following Gasly directly, and hopefully there's going to be something lined up in sector 3. This is where we have been faster, taking that corner as well as we can. We are running a low downforce setting, so the corners such as those ones are going to be difficult to traverse, but it looks like now we are coming up right up Gasly's chuff. We're closing in on him all the while, heading now through Blanchimont. I'm going to call that Blanchimont, but we're properly going on Gasly. We're going for the inside, braking just beyond the 100-meter board, but we have run a little bit over, a bit of a lock up there. Couldn't quite get the car slowed down, but that might be good enough to keep Gasly behind us. And in fact, yes, just a little look back there. Gasly nowhere near us to be trying anything into La Source as we're now coming into La Source. Bit of a lock up there on the front right. Bit of wheel spin as well. Not very clean driving for myself at the moment, so but either way we are up into P3. We've got Bottas in front of us, Weber leading the race. He's got a brilliant start. If you look there on the mini-map, you can see he's already got a decent lead over Bottas and myself. Bottas, who also has a good lead on me, but we've got a wild Pierre Gasly coming up our outside. Is he going to be able to try anything? Down to 4th gear, we gave him room, and that has meant we are still in P3 now, heading into the downhill corner whose name I cannot remember. We're just adjusting our ERS there into medium. You can just see there, it looks like we're gaining on Bottas at the moment. Bottas certainly not being able to escape us. Obviously the car still perfectly set up to be able to chase others. It'll just be a case of what happens if and when we are able to get in front of Bottas. All left front on the curb there, that can send your car around, but we've got away with it for the moment now, heading into the Q2 crash corner. We're trying to take it in 5th to hold on to the gearbox, but not quite able to manage it, so we stay in 4th gear now, heading into the slightly tricky corner with this setup, down to 4th gear, and now we are into sector 3 where we had great success against Gasly. You can see there on the split we are only 7/10 of a second behind Bottas, so if we can keep it like this we will have DRS on the next lap. Gasly as well has got to be considered as we just run off our right tyres even onto the grass. That is going to slow us down in our pursuit of Bottas, but as we brake into the bus stop chicane. We are properly gaining on Bottas now, almost up his trumpet, but not quite, as Lucas Weber naturally sets the fastest lap of the race. He sets a 1:45.489. We set our fastest lap. I can't quite see what it is. I think it's a 46 dead now, but we just get a bit of wheel spin coming out of La Source. We have been struggling through this corner all weekend, but we are certainly within striking distance of Valtteri Bottas, heading now up through Eau Rouge, now through Radion, and it is going to be a case of how quickly can we pop this DRS open, how much will the slipstream effect work on the Mercedes. We are on a Honda-powered Red Bull, but it looks like it's going to be a case of wham, bam, don't convert to Islam, and we are now, ooh, okay, that was a bit of a dodgy one, but I'm sticking with it, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, we've got the move done. What is Valtteri Bottas saying? Is he going to be chasing us now into the downhill corner, whose name I can't remember? No, he is nowhere to be seen. So we have got ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Oh, hang on, we've just run wide coming out of the downhill corner, whose name I can't remember now. As we head down towards Pouhon, you can see there Valtteri Bottas properly chasing us. We're going to have to go defensive inside line. He's trying to go around the outside. That would be an audacious move at the very least if he was able to get it done, but fortunately for us, he was not. As we now come into the Q2 crash corner, running a little bit on the curb there. That is always a risk. Another risk there. Don't want to unsettle the rear. We are running very low rear downforce. I will put the setup in the description of this video if you want to see sort of what we're running with, and I think that is what we got there. We've got a 3.6 second gap to Weber already, and it's a fine margin between us and Bottas. I feel like this is going to run for the duration of the race. Bottas now having is he going to have a look into the bus stop chicane? It doesn't look like it. Slightly difficult place to overtake there for the AI, but we have just had a little bit of a lockup out of the bus stop chicane. Are we going to be able to track down Weber? Looks like Weber has in fact taken 0.3 of a second out of us in that final sector, so I think we're going to have to hope for some form of miracle to be able to chase him down, or just find some pace, or hope that he loses his pace. One way or another, it is going to be difficult to challenge Lucas Weber for the lead and victory of this race. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on Bottas in the fight for second place. Just checking in the mirrors there, Bottas certainly not. He's losing time somewhere, whether that's in La Source or whether that's in Eau Rouge, it will remain to be seen. But at the moment, we have extended our gap a little bit on Mr. Valtteri Bottas, now heading down towards the downhill corner, whose name I can't remember. I should probably look up this name. There's nothing stopping me from doing it, but I can't be bothered. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really not that arsed. So, where are we now? So we're coming now down towards Pouhon. We're not entirely sure what the gap is to Mr. Valtteri Bottas, taking it 7th gear. You can take that corner in 8th, but you will not get the best drive out of it. I think that might be called the purchase. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I think it is better just to dip down into 7th now, heading into this corner where our downforce package isn't going to quite help us out, and I think this is what's going to cost us. We just go how much slower. We've gone 0.2 of a second slower through sector 2. We've got about 0.4 to Mr. Bottas, heading now into sector 3. We come through one of those corners now. I'm pretty sure this is called Blanchimont, heading up towards the bus stop chicane. Bottas not quite as close as he was on the previous lap, braking just after the 100-metre board. And oh, bloody hell, what was that? There was a bit of debris just flew right past our head. Okay, fair enough. Not going to argue with that. Unlucky to that person who's just lost a bit of debris. That might have been a Haas car, actually. That could be quite good news for us if we want to avoid a big fight for the podium places, which is ideally what we want to do, but we will have to wait and see. I'm really not sure where that bit of carbon fibre came from, but yeah, Halo doing its job, I suppose, if that's how it works in this game. I'm pretty sure it's not, but anyway. So, heading up the Kemmel Straight, just having a look at our onboard systems, or you might have just noticed there, we've got a little yellow bit on our power unit. That is our MGUK. We are on the second version of that, and it is very much dead. I'm pretty sure it's on 69% life, which if you are of a mental age of 3, that is absolutely hilarious, and obviously I find it as funny as anyone would. Says a lot about me and my mental age, I suppose. Heading now down towards Pouhon, we just had a look back there, saw Bottas is getting closer. We have not been able to shake him so far on lap 5. Weber is very much up the road. I don't think he's going to be caught. I think this is a good point to talk about the Williams cars. Obviously, it is quite bizarre to see them on pole and also leading the race and also leading the championship as well in both the drivers and the constructors. Bit of history on this career mode as we just set our personal best Sector 2 time. But yeah, bit of history. They obviously started off as the worst team. That was the team that Weber joined from GP2, but just as the first season went through, they just started to get some good results. Weber took a P5 at, I think it might have been Russia. That was coincidentally a race where I nearly took my very first podium racing for Alfa Romeo. As we're just going to cross the line here, we set the all-round best Sector 3 time and set our best lap. That is a 1:45.7. Couldn't quite see what the gap to Bottas was there, but I think he is still very much a striking distance. In fact, yeah, if you look there on the mini-map, you can see Bottas directly behind us. Fairly certain that it was a bit of Haas that flew off, because the chasing pack behind Bottas are miles behind. So it looks like it is going to be a straight fight between myself and Valterri Bottas for the second podium position. And we've just run a little bit wide there, running over the curb. And that is this is definitely going to allow Bottas to close in now, heading down towards the corner, whose name I forget, and it is a downhill. Watch up for those lockups. They are very easy to do, but I think we're getting away with it so far. I don't want to run too wide there, because the curb will spit the car out and will make sure that you have a very bad day indeed. Heading down towards Pouon, who also possesses, I think it's off-camber curves, particularly that one. If you get your wheels too much up on that curb, you will literally just be spun round, bit of Strictly Come Dancing, and you will have a very bad day indeed. Again, we're trying to take this corner in 5th gear to look after the engine, look after the gearbox, but it's just not quite working for us at the moment. Down to 4th for this corner as well. Yeah, so coming back on to, actually no, sorry, we're only 3 attempts now in front of Valtteri Bottas, so we're going to have to wait. Oh my god, he is right behind us. We're going to leave him some room on the inside, and that has cost us. Bottas now takes the position, so Bottas now up into P2. We've been relegated to P3, but Bottas might come to regret this, because this now means that we are going to have DRS first of all down the start-finish straight, but more importantly, this is going to set us up heading into Eau Rouge and then down the Kemmel Straight. So I'm firmly predicting that this should be another slam dunk overtake. We just dial our ERS up into high mode. You can see that we've got just over 50% ERS potential. Now heading up towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Bottas extending a little bit of the gap there, but DRS, as we saw in the actual Grand Prix this year, and as we're about to see here, DRS is massively overpowered on this track. Bottas goes to the inside line. Well, he goes to the middle of the track, really, allowing us to go round the outside. I don't think I left him enough room there. There might have been a bit of contact, but it looks like we've both gotten away with it. We'll see if Bottas has got away with it or not, if he trails away like the Haas car did behind. If we just look on the minimap, I'm pretty sure that might now be George Russell now in 4th place, but they are miles behind as we're now heading down towards Pouon, just about taking it in 7th gear, nearly in 8th, but not quite. So where is Bottas? He is still firmly on our arse, and I think we will see what happens with the strategy, but I think the best port of call might be, this might be a controversial thing to say, but I reckon the best port of call will be to go a couple of laps longer than we were originally going to. This will mean that we'll have better tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix in this race with Mr. Bottas. I do not want to be on worse rubber against this AI, because it is literally, if any little small disadvantage you have against them, they will absolutely exploit. And this Bottas going to send one down the inside. He was very close, right up our arse, but nothing for the moment. Although, as I mentioned earlier when I was chasing Bottas, this is now going to set me up negatively for the DRS zone as we break into the source just beyond the 100 meter board, getting decent drive. Yeah, not bad. We're going a bit slower now than our best laps so far. We're in high rich mode, and we've got, how much fuel have we got? We've got a decent amount of fuel on board, so we can stick in standard. No need for any fuel saving at this rate. We should be okay for fuel. We are now going to have to defend against Bottas. We go to the inside line, look for, is he going to be able to get the overtake done? In fact, no, he's not. That is surprising. The way he was coming like an absolute freight train, and we have held the position. We are still in P2. Sorry if this is a little bit boring for you at the moment. There's no, obviously we're just defending, having this brilliant battle with Bottas, but obviously there's not much in the way of actual overtaking happening. But I just hope that if anyone is watching at this moment, which I find it very unlikely to be, then yeah, I hope you're enjoying it so far. Obviously here with Rich T Racing. Hopefully you'll be hearing me in the BUKC commentary, actually commentating on actual live racing, which is sort of the reason I'm doing the whole race, as we are actually finally able to take Crash Corner through in 5th gear, so looking after the gearbox a bit there. What we're going to be able to do this corner in, we just dipped down 2, so whilst the revs are a bit high, slightly killing the ICE, we are looking after the gearbox. It's 0.4 of a second to get back to Valterri Bottas and 7 seconds to Lucas Weber. As I said earlier, it looks like the battle is only going to be between Bottas and myself for P2. Bottas once again right up my rear coming into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to send it? No, he is not, proving that if you've got good downforce on this game, you will be okay heading into certain corners, as Weber and Bottas pit. So they have pitted on lap 8 and we are now on to lap 9. We are going to be going certainly going further than them, hopefully with their slightly earlier stop, and with a number of drivers probably being on the medium tyre. Hopefully that will mean that Bottas and Weber get caught up, and that will allow us to build on the momentum and hopefully build a bit of a gap when they come out of their pit stop. We're going to go as fast as we possibly can now on this lap, and I think on the next lap as well, because I think we're going to be now stopping on lap 10. I'm not entirely sure if that strategy change option came up, but it definitely does come up at some point. So I can confirm that even in my head, we are going for lap 10. So we set a personal best sector 1 time, but we are currently down on the delta even on sector 2, rear just slightly stepping out there. As actually mentioning that traffic and Weber, the only person he's stuck behind is his teammate, so it's looking very good for Lucas Weber right now for the victory in this race. And we're not going to worry about Weber. We'll see what we can do, but it's not going to be much. And the fact he's only behind his teammate, actually no such thing as team orders on this game. Russell will probably stay in front of Weber, holding up Weber where it is, and just slightly dimming that sense of realism. But you can't have it all. You can't have it all your own way. But yes, certain bits. That would be a brilliant thing. Whilst we're just racing about as we come onto this lap, I don't think actually, tell you the truth, I don't think Jeff is working on this recording. The way I record the races now is with a capture card, the Elgato HD60S, and I don't think it records sounds that come through the controller. So we will have to see if we're coming in on this lap. I'm fairly certain we are. But coming back onto it, wish list for 2020, the game. I would love to see team orders and team strategy, and if you're racing your teammate, little radios coming in, like we saw, like when you start the GP2 season, when you've got in the very first one where you've got an engine failure and your team asks you to move over for Weber. I'd love to see that integrated into the actual F1 2020 career mode, and I'd love to see more of Weber and Butler as opposed to just the occasional press clipping, because obviously when I first picked up this game, when you see that as a feature, it is fantastic. It's like, oh my god, we have actually got a story here. We're racing against people we raced against in GP2. One was our teammate, one was our bitter rival. Where is this going to go? It doesn't go anywhere. At the moment, I'm like, Weber is set to win the championship. He is miles out in front, and Butler is still racing for Toro Rosso. He has done for his entire career, and he's just not really doing anything. So it is a bit disappointing, I have to say, but it's definitely got a lot of potential, and I think that is what we've got to take into it as we're now coming through Blanchimont. Our little theories on the game, on what can be seen for 2020, are now over. Are we going to be pitting? Yes, we are. Bit of a lock up there. We don't want to hit that little concrete block there and damage our wing. That would be very irritating as we now drop into medium ERS deployment mode. I don't think that actually makes a blind bit of difference. We're going to see what kind of pit stop do we get here. We get a dead 2 second pit stop. Weber has already overtaken us. Grosjean's coming to the pits, and you might just be able to see that on the minimap. That is a Alfa Romeo. I think that is Daniel Ricciardo, who is currently in second place. Must have been the first of the medium runners. There we go. We come out in front of Ricciardo, but more importantly, we have come out in front of Valtteri Bottas, which is definitely good news, but we've got to make sure that the disadvantage of being slightly slower up the hill isn't going to make us get overtaken by Ricciardo and by Bottas, because they've both got DRS as we go ultra defensive right to the right hand side. Look, oh my giddy aunt, we've been overtaken by Bottas, we got overtaken by Ricciardo, but we send it down the inside. Bottas trying to fight round the outside, coming down towards the corner whose name I forget, and we have maintained position. We have held on to second by the absolute skin of our teeth. I'm not entirely sure how realistic that is, but we have certainly been able to make the most of the unrealism, and we are now comfortably in second place with the newer tyres. That should, in theory, mean that we are able to extend our gap over Bottas in these few laps. We're now ducking down into medium on the ERS, heading now through the corner that's slightly a bit of a struggle, and it's been a massive struggle there. We've run wide onto the grass, almost onto the gravel, and that is surely going to mean that Bottas is going to be right up our chuff. He's not as up our chuff as I was expecting, but he is certainly going to have DRS going down the start-finish straight. He's getting closer, heading into the bus stop chicane as Lucas Weber sets the fastest lap of the race of 1:45.230. Now on to the start-finish straight. Bottas will be getting DRS. So what are we going to see coming down into the source? It's a 6/10 of a second gap heading into the source. Bit of a lock-up there. So now we are on our way up towards Eau Rouge. We are just basically going as fast as we did on our fastest lap. Lando Norris sets the fastest lap of the race, heading now up through Eau Rouge and now through Radion. Where is Bottas? Is he anywhere near us? I'm sure he must be, heading up the Kemmel Straight. He is certainly close. In fact, he is gaining massively, coming like a freaking freight train. But amazingly, we have held on to the position. I could have sworn I was going to see the silver arrow getting down our inside, but it has not happened. As we head through the corner whose name I forget, we are hanging on to the position. We're not making the most of these tyres. We are going slower than our fastest lap. Bottas a little bit further behind, but certainly still within that second, and we're taking that corner now, taking Pouon even is its name, as in 8th gear. I've no idea where Lucas Weber is. Actually, you can see him just about see him on the minimap there. He is miles out in front, so it looks like this is going to be a comfortable victory for Weber, really. Let's not get bogged down, and especially we're probably thinking about Weber too much there as we run wide through this corner. Bottas only 0.3 of a second behind. Surely we are going to see an overtake from him. Actually, he's not as close as I was expecting, but surely he's going to be in with a shout coming into the bus stop, right up our chuff, as he has been basically the entirety of this race since lap 3, since that DRS move, but he's still not sending it. It would be quite amazing, really, if the game is geared so that Valtteri Bottas isn't quite as aggressive as some other drivers might be, as we have seen in real life. Obviously, Bahrain 2018 and other races as well. I'm pretty sure we have seen, obviously, he trails away in the second half of the race, or he used to. We have actually, out of La Source, we have gained significantly on Bottas. They would appear to be a place where we are actually making time up. It's just a shame that we come onto this massive DRS zone that allows Bottas to close in. He's closing in. We're actually going to go defensive on Bottas. Was that entirely necessary? A bit like Giancarlo Fisichella at the 2005 Japanese Grand Prix, just defended against nothing, and that allowed Raikkonen to get past. Oh, we have got a massive kick of wheel spin there. Is that going to allow Bottas to get anywhere near us? It doesn't look like it for the moment, but he is certainly going to be right behind us as we now head out of No Name, or Jackie X corner as I believe it is now called, heading now down towards Pouon. Bottas, oh my god, he's actually nowhere near us. I am surprised. I'm surprised and shocked as we take Pouon in 8th, looking after that gearbox. And yeah, Bottas nowhere near as he has been recently, as we're now going through here in 4th gear, trying to go as fast as we can, maybe trying to start using the life in these tyres to our advantage, but we are going significantly slower than our fastest, about 0.4 of a second slower. Bottas 0.6 of a second away from us, but as I've said before, throughout this race, attacking or defending, this is going to give Bottas a beautiful slipstream coming into the bus stop chicane, which and then obviously he's going to have DRS on the start-finish straight and then up the Kemmel straight as well. So this could place Bottas in a really good position. Oh my giddy aunt, that is the biggest bout of wheel spin we have seen so far. Quite how he didn't spin out there, I'm not entirely sure. Breaking down into the source, this is going to give Bottas an amazing opportunity up the Kemmel straight to get an overtake done. So now we will see what happens here heading towards Eau Rouge. Bottas, again, he's not quite as close as I would have imagined, but he's certainly he's going to have the DRS, and this could lead to an overtake. Bottas is going to be much closer than he has been so far. He's right up our chuff. We don't even bother defending. There he goes, down the inside into the Nouvelle chicane, and Bottas takes second place, relegating us down to third. So it's now going to be a case of, can we use our slightly younger tyres to advantage? Will our lower downforce package mean that we are able to stick closer to Bottas than we otherwise might have been able to do? So far it looks like that is exactly what's happening. Heading through No Name, running a little bit too far to the right onto the curb. That could have proved costly, but fortunately it hasn't. Dipping down into Pouon, staying in 8th gear, running wide as well. That is not what we wanted to do, but we are still right behind Bottas. We're still in with a good chance of having DRS on the next lap, and it's also obviously it is in sector 3 where we are gaining an awful amount of time. Heading now through this corner that does not benefit cars with low downforce packages, and now we are we are now in sector 3. This is where we are going to make the most of our package, of our time behind Bottas. We're going to get a beautiful slipstream heading up towards, I'm guessing it's Blanchemont. I did not look up the name of the corners, and I haven't done since. I don't care. So sue me, I'm not bothered. We really cocked up the bus stop chicane there. That is a corner whose name I do know, but we've got DRS now heading into the source. The gap is 5/10 of a second, half a second heading into the source. This is surely going to be a proper case of wham blam. Thank you, ma'am. Not going to say what I said earlier because that was certainly dodgy. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, coming through Eau Rouge up the Kemmel straight. DRS is going to pop open. We're not as close to Bottas as I would have liked, but we have got a very skinny rear wing, and we're toing and throwing with Bottas. Which way we're going to go? We're going to go around the outside, get a bit of a lock-up on the front right, and the move is done. And more importantly, we are now got a decent delta on our lap time, sticking down into medium ERS deployment mode, and there is a yellow flag as there is a virtual safety car. A virtual safety car has come out. This has nullified the battle between myself and Bottas, and it's Max Verstappen, our teammate. Verstappen out of the race. Wow. Okay. So Verstappen is out. His championship challenge was basically over anyway. It has to be said, Verstappen has not been having the greatest season, but when there has been an opportunity for a Red Bull to win a race in this season, Verstappen has been the driver. He won in China and he won at the Hungaroring. I took 4th and 3rd respectively in those races, starting 20th in Hungary, if I do say so myself. But yeah, so Verstappen out of the race, and we have this virtual safety car, so that nullifies everything, gives us a chance to save some ERS and save some fuel, and just got to make sure we don't get ourselves a penalty. Virtual safety car now ending, so we're going to be going racing any moment now, and there we go. As really not the best timing for the VSC to end, but we now are back underway racing, and we will see where Bottas is. He is still right up our trumpet. The gap is just under half a second. So heading into the source, DRS obviously gets enabled immediately, unlike with an actual safety car when it gets enabled a couple of laps later. It's 2 laps. Obviously now heading into Eau Rouge, up through Raidillon. Where is Valtteri Bottas? He is right behind us. He is very close. We are probably going to have to go defensive here any moment now. Are we going defensive? No. Oh, no, we're letting him. What we're doing exactly what we did earlier. We're letting Bottas through, and I'm not so sure about that. I think I should have gone more defensive there. Could we have held on to the position? Not sure about that one. No, do you know what? I'm chastising myself, and rightly so, because I should have gone defensive. At least made it difficult for him. We made it easy for him once. We've just made it easy for him twice. So if that move happens again, Obviously, it's a robot. It will just do the same thing over and over again. But in real life, that would have said to Bottas, right, I just know what to do. Go down the inside. As long as I'm close enough, go down the inside. He won't fight. That is a psychological advantage. And we've spoken about that on Rich T Racing before. And you might not think it makes a difference in racing, but believe you me, it does. So looking at the gap now, Bottas extending more of an advantage than he did the last time this happened. The gap sits at 0.7 of a second. That's the biggest the gap has been since the second pit stop for both of us. And it is now going to take something quite Herculean for us to be able to get anywhere near Bottas, as Lucas Weber sets a new fastest lap. I think that was a 1:44.8. So he is just out there enjoying life, living in the moment, cruising to another victory, cruising to effectively wrapping up the championship at Belgium. He is miles out in front. I think he's a good 60 points in front of Bottas and 61 points in front of me, or it might be 58 and 59. I think actually no, it is that. Just in terms of the battle for this podium position, we cannot rule Carlos Sainz out, because the McLaren have developed their car fantastically. It is now one of the better cars on the grid. Bottas got a very decent gap now to us. I'm not entirely sure what it is. We have got DRS. That is important, so we are at least going to be able to keep up with him. And we cross the line. So we go through sector 1. The gap is 0.4 of a second as we go. What is that? About 2 or 4 tenths faster in sector 1. And I think had Bottas been able to get, if we had been outside DRS, we'd be screwed now. So that just shows how not defending has cost us. As we're on lap 17, there are 6 laps of this race left to go, or 5.5 really, given where we are on the lap. Dipping down into 7th to try and carry a bit more speed, get a little bit more throttle and acceleration and all that good stuff coming out of Pouon into 4th gear for Crash Corner, or Q2 Crash Corner as I'm calling it. Again, don't know the name, don't care, sue me. Heading now down into another corner whose name I don't know. Yep, we've been there, and we are now going. How much faster are we going there? We're going 0.6 of a second faster. We have got more ERS. Obviously, that virtual safety car helping us out massively. Lucas Weber sets a 1:44.4. So he is going great guns, and it is now still between myself and Valtteri for second place. I am certainly closing in massively, coming through the bus stop chicane. I'm going to have DRS pop open. There it goes for the start, finish straight. Heading now down into the source. The gap stands at 3/10 of a second. I think it was about 3.5 or 3.9 tenths of a second. That doesn't make sense. It was 3/10 of a second. Let's just leave it at that. Now heading up Eau Rouge. This should be another case of wham bam, thank you ma'am. Heading now, popping the DRS open. This is going to be like taking candy from a baby. Normally we've gone to the outside. This time we go to the inside. Bottas not expecting that, getting the move done. What are we? We're 18 seconds behind Weber. So this is the fight. Got to make sure we keep it going. Obviously, we can't rule out the possibility of something could happen to Weber. He could spin. He could have a mechanical problem. But even so, if he has a mechanical problem, I would imagine that with only 5 laps to go, he'll be able to hang on to it very well. Unless it's a terminal problem, obviously. But the chances of that happening, that would be quite fortuitous, to say the least. You're watching the Belgian Grand Prix here with Rich T Racing. We are in a colossal fight for P2 with Valtteri Bottas heading through the corner, whose name I don't know, and it is a bit tricky with the downforce package I've got on. We're going faster than our previous best, which was a 1:44.7. We're only going marginally fast. I think we've now just dipped below. Weber sets another fastest lap of the race. Now coming up through Blanchimont, heading towards the bus stop chicane, and Bottas actually, bloody hell, Bottas has actually sent it down the inside of the bus stop chicane. Caught me a bit napping there, but we've been able to hang on to it, just fighting him round the outside. We've lost a decent amount of time on that particular lap time. There's only 4 laps of this race to go, and we've run wide out of Le Source, so we're going to have to cut back over the curb. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't really be able to happen like that in real life racing. Bottas would probably be in front of us now anyway, but heading up through Eau Rouge, heading up through Radion, Bottas right up our rear, and this time we do go defensive. We've learnt from our mistake. Bottas tucking up behind us. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough speed to be able to get past us, and he has not. We've broke really well into the Nouvelle Chicane, or whatever one it's called, and we have kept P2. This race is going to rumble on all the way to the checkered flag. That I have no doubt. We've got to just make sure we keep it as clean and tidy as we possibly can now, heading towards Pouon. Are we going to dip down into 7th gear? Yes, we do. Just got to go. It is a case of just going as fast as possible. We can't be letting up. We've got plenty of fuel left. Our tyres are fine. It's a straight fight. It's brilliant racing, and this is the best of the Codemasters games. This is the best of F1 2019, 2018, all of those games. This is where this game is at its absolute best, and this is where I love it the absolute most. 21 seconds is the gap to Bottas, to Weber, who just sets another fast as that, 44.3, and we are now going to be looking out for Bottas. Where is he? He's definitely, certainly, well, actually no, he's not as up our chuff as one would have expected, although we get our braking just a little bit, I've seen better braking into the bus stop, and there we go, massive bit of wheel spin. We've had that before. Bottas closing in, the gap only at 0.3 of a second, heading into La Source. So it is going to be another case of holding on up the Camel Straight, positioning the car correctly, making sure we get good braking into the Nouvelle Chicane. Bottas not as close as he has been in recent laps, but he is still going to have a great big heaping chunk of DRS ready to be deployed. We're taking the racing line. Actually, Bottas not as close as I would have expected. Maybe he's saving a bit of VRS. We are saving a bit of VRS now. That's bold. 1/10 is the gap. So Bottas certainly getting close, but not close enough to enact an overtake. So, oh my God, he is right behind us now, heading into the downhill corner where a lockup is perfectly possible, but we are keeping it nice and easy through there, up into 4th now, into 5th, ducking down into Jackie X corner, or No Name. I'm fairly certain it is Jackie X, but No Name has a nice little ring to it, and that is what it's been famous for. Just looking behind as well, keeping an eye out on Carlos Sainz. He has not disappeared, and that will be Lewis Hamilton in 5th place. Hamilton definitely, he's not in the championship fight. I don't even think he's in the fight for second. The fight for second at the moment is firmly between myself, Bottas, Russell, and if he had finished the race, Max Verstappen. Verstappen, obviously, the only retirement in this race so far. One thing I have noticed as the games have gone on is that retirements aren't as big of a thing as they used to be. Used to have massive crashes all over the place, but yeah, retirement's just not really much of a thing. Oh my God, the timing could not have been planned better. Oh, Lucas Weber's out of the race. Oh my, Lucas Weber's out of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Lucas Weber is out of the race. Oh my God. I did not see this coming. Certainly when I first recorded this, definitely didn't pre-plan this at all. But we're leading the race, boys. We're leading the race. This is absolutely phenomenal. I haven't won a race on career mode yet. This would be my first career victory, and obviously we've been having this massive fight with Bottas. Bottas properly up our rear. This isn't just for second place anymore. This is for the lead of the race. This is for the race victory. Bottas going for the outside line, braking brilliantly into Nouvelle. There's contact made, but we have held on to the position. This is, oh my giddy aunt, I do not know what to make of it right now, but this is a fight for the lead. This is a fight for the lead. I can't quite believe what's happened, but we've now just got a race as best as we possibly can, hanging on to that ERS, making sure Bottas cannot have any opportunity of an overtake. We've got a decent gap on him coming into Pouon, but we so nearly run up onto the green stuff. I mentioned it earlier, you cannot run too much onto the green stuff there. That will send your car around, but we have held on for the moment, running a bit wide through Q2 crash corner, but we are hanging on for the moment, running a bit wide onto the green stuff there. Don't want anything to go wrong at all. 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear, climbing up through the gears. The gap is 0.4 of a second, as I've just received an email. That was rude, caterer.com. I don't want to be a reservations agent. Don't even know why I'm still subscribed to them. They haven't offered me any jobs. But anyway, no, sorry. Coming back onto the business of racing, heading up to the bus stop chicane. Bottas properly up our rear. I think in real life racing, he would have sent it there. But in fact, he has. Bottas going for it. down the inside on the penultimate lap, but I have done exactly what I did to him the last time he tried that move, and this could potentially settle the race, because Bottas, whilst he has got DRS, we have got a very good rear wing, very good aero package for straight line. It's going to be difficult for him to get a move done up the Kemmel Straight heading into the Nouvelle chicane, but we have got to keep an eye out. We can only run in high energy mode. We're going into overtake mode now. We're going to try and do our best as possible to hang on to the lead of this race for what would be our first race victory, and Bottas trying for it round the outside, but he has not been able to do it. He's going to be running out of opportunities. He is going to have the bus stop chicane to get another overtake opportunity in, but will he be able to? We're running in medium ERS mode. We have got a decent amount of fuel left. I wouldn't be surprised if we see us hitting up into rich mode any moment or any time on this lap. We have got the fuel. We have got the ERS. Well, actually, I say that. We haven't got the ERS. We've only got a small percentage left. I think we've only got just over 30% ERS left, but we've got only a few corners of this track left for Bottas to be able to try any form of overtake. Heading through Q2 crash corner, getting through there well, heading into the corner that is not beneficial to a car with less downforce. What is the gap? It is 0.3 of a second up into high ERS mode, up into rich fuel mode. We've only got a couple of corners left. The last good overtaking opportunity is the final corner. What is Bottas going to do? Is he going to send it? He is close. He is very close. We're going to go to the middle of the track. There's nowhere really for him to go. No overtaking attempt from Bottas, but he is going to be right behind us. But I don't think it's going to matter. We are going to cross the line and we take the victory. We win our very first race. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Jeff. I can't quite believe what I've just witnessed. I can't quite believe what I was just able to take part in. Oh my god, these games, say what you will about the racing quality, say what you will about that, but it can deliver some absolutely fantastic racing, and there we go. We take our first victory, the crowd go wild, the Red Bull crowd go wild, and that is exactly what we wanted, and it's Carlos Sainz on the podium. We're seeing Romain Grosjean here for some reason. He's taken 8th place. Actually, I think that was quite a good race for him, climbing from 11th. But yeah, there we go. Look at me. Look at me. That is definitely not what I look like, apart from the beard. But yeah, wow. I can't quite believe that. The fact that Verstappen retiring was one thing, but Weber retiring with 2 laps to go, you can't write that sort of thing. The champagne is spraying, and it is absolutely happy days. Bottas and me celebrating on the podium. I'm not quite sure that's how it would go down, although Bottas has won a number of Grand Prix at this point, so I'm sure he would be quite congratulatory. Great racing. We were within a second of each other, basically every single lap, apart from during the pit stop phase. Wow. I can't quite believe that. So, we're looking through the lap times. You see that Lewis Hamilton actually finished in 4th place, setting the fastest lap of the race. Gasly in 5th, Lando Norris 6th, Charles Leclerc 7th, Romain Grosjean 8th, Kevin Magnussen in 9th, and 10th place, Kimi Räikkönen. Oh, bloody hell, Kimi Räikkönen in 10th. Renault are crap. How have they managed that? Wow. In terms of the championship, you'll see there that obviously Weber's lead has come down. So has Williams' lead at the top of the Constructors' Championship. So it's 34 points between myself and Weber. Whilst obviously we have taken a decent amount of points off Weber in that race, I can't see any sort of proper championship challenge being mounted because the Williams is just so good. We'll look through in the fight for second place. Obviously you see it's me versus Bottas really. Russell just behind. But I think Verstappen might have just taken himself out of contention with that retirement, and Hamilton as well, possibly a little bit too far off. But anyway, guys, that has been the full race at the Belgian Grand Prix. Obviously, it was a 50% race. I didn't even mention that throughout. But yeah, that is the end of the race. That is the end of this video. If by any chance you have stuck around for the whole thing, or you've skipped through and got to the end, then thank you for doing so. If you did enjoy what you saw, do be sure to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and also like, comment, all that good stuff, all that jazz. And the final thing for me to say now is ta-ta and farewell.